These are the areas that this video will be covering. Dismissal, an extremely important sector. Most of us don't understand the ways and all of dismissal, so we get into trouble because of that. And of course, what are the situations where the employer can kick us out, dismiss us? Okay, if it happens, what are our rights? Again, we are weak on that. And then redundancy, situations where employer can decide that I am extra atirikta, and of course few questions as well we'll be discussing. Okay, anyway, when an employer wants to dismiss us, it's a must that he has to give us notice. Notice should be in writing. Normally the contract would clearly state the period of notice, normally at least a month if I have been working for quite a while in the company. I'm just telling you a standard, right? But remember, the company can kick me out without notice also. We call it summary dismissal, but we'll be learning that later. Okay, now take a look at this part, please. So, if an employer dismisses me from work, right, either with or without notice, right, I have the right to take legal action against the company. I have two key actions. Number one, wrongful dismissal action, which I can take against the company in court. So that's an expensive action. If it's a job that I was highly paid and I have the right to ask for a higher amount of compensation, so it's worth fighting the case in the court, but it will cost a lot of money. And the other one is a cheap option. We call it unfair dismissal, and that's normally fought at the industrial tribunal, or we call it the labor tribunal. So we have these two options: one, wrongful dismissal action; two, unfair dismissal action if the company removes me from the work. So what are the situations where an employee can take wrongful dismissal action? Take a look at this. If I'm removed from the job without giving me proper notice, I should be given notice before I am removed, but if the company doesn't give me and ask me to get out, so that's wrongful dismissal. I can take action either in the labor tribunal or in the court. Second, I have been given a particular period of contract, maybe something like, let's say, 2 years, but before that, maybe 1 year and after 3 months, 4 months, like the company is removing me, even with notice, but before the end of my fixed term. That's also wrongful dismissal. I have the right to take legal action. If I want to, I can take action in the court, or else I could fight for the case in the labor tribunal. Difference is, court will take long time to hear case. You need lawyers and all to fight that case. Labor tribunal or Kamkaro Inisha Sabhava, you don't need lawyers. They'll hear the case super fast, maybe within 6 months. But court will give us a chance of higher compensation. Right, what's unfair dismissal? If I'm kicked out of the job for very unfair reasons, I don't think I should have been kicked out of the job. These are very, very unfair, the way they kick me out. And here some of them automatically unfair reasons are given. You cannot remove an employee because of pregnancy, a female employee. I have the right to join a trade union. For me, being in a trade union, that's not a reason for the employer to kick me out of the job. That's wrong. I have the right to ask for health and safety at the workplace. Poor ventilation, poor lighting, safety, ill quality equipment, dangerous working conditions. I have the right to fight for my health and safety. If I am removed for fighting for right and health and safety, there's no right that the employer has to kick me out. It's automatically unfair. I can get my job back or compensation. Yes, I have my legal rights of EPF, ETF, gratuity and all that. If the employer is not paying me these things, I have the right to take legal action. Employed viruddha nadudamma kiyala, even if I lose the case, right, company cannot kick me out of the job. Well, there are fair reasons for dismissal also. If I do any of these things, yes, the company can kick me out even without notice. Dishonesty. That means I lie to the company. I have no right to lie to the company. Remember that. Whenever the company asks me facts and figures relating to the work I do, If I give the company incorrect figures, that would amount to dishonesty, and company has the right to remove me. I shall always give truthful information when the company asks me that information. Dangerous behavior, yes, when I work around in the company, my conduct, my work, my behavior shall not put others also in danger. If that's the case, the company can kick me out. I'm fully negligent. I'm really negligent, right? If I'm a very dangerous person to work in the workplace, yeah, gross negligence. And yes, there are lawful orders, and if I refuse to follow them, right, I can be removed. Right? I have no duty to follow an illegal order, but I have a duty to follow lawful orders. In the earlier video, we discussed what a lawful order is. Immorality, that means kind of being against the accepted, the culture of the country. Immorality is that. Mostly it's connected to the sexuality of a person, right? Marriage to a competitor. If I'm married to a person, if I get married, if I newly get married to an employee who is working in a company in direct competition with my company, well, then my employer can take legal action against me. He might say, right, okay, we wish you well in the marriage, but you have to leave the company, because the marriage may result in a lot of confidential information getting into the other hand. The company has a right to prevent it. Employee is the only person who can prevent your marriage. If you get married to, an employee from a competitor company, in a breach of confidentiality, whatever the information that you have in your possession, right, shall not be divulged or released to another person's hand without the express acceptance or accept concurrence of the company. Summary dismissal. So if I do the above ones, the company has the right to kick me out without notice. That right the company has. Right? So sometimes, if the employer has broken a very serious term of the contract, or if the employer has broken one of those things that I told you earlier, employee has done those wrong things, right? Employer has a right to remove the employee without notice. දුටු තැන ඉවත් කරන්න පුළුවන්. This can happen as well, right? There is an employee who has done something wrong. Let's say a senior manager or someone, right? And the company wants to kick him out, but because of his high position, or in order to give some respect to him, the employee himself agrees to resign. Actually, the company should be removing the employee because he has done a wrong thing, but employee himself says, "Mama ingenna." So the company will not give any notice, and the employee resigns. Okay, this is very common in industries. Okay, so if I'm removed from the company, what kind of actions can I take? Unfair dismissal, yes. Where can I file legal action? I can go to the employment tribunal or the labor tribunal. Sometimes I may leave a company not because the company has kicked me out, but because the living conditions or the working conditions are very bad in the company, right? So I request the company to change their safety protocols, but the company refuses to listen to me. I can leave the company because of that. After leaving the company, after resigning from the company, remember, I can come back at the company filing constructive dismissal action. I left the company, I had to resign from the company because of the dangerous conditions or the bad behavior of the people in the company, or the dangerous conditions at workplace in the company. So I'm leaving. I resigned because of that, and because of that I lost this much of money, pay me compensation. That is constructive dismissal. Right? Here employee take action what? After resigning. Remember that. What are the remedies available when an employee is dismissed and when he files legal actions and wins a case? Compensation is a definite thing. and demanding the job back again. We call it reinstatement. Or you can ask for re-engagement, meaning I don't want to work in the former office. කලින් මම වැඩ කරපු තැනම මට එපා, but within the company, but in a different branch, or maybe in a different job, perhaps maybe in a different department. Give me the work. That's called re-engagement. Yeah, this is also a key thing. During the COVID emergencies and all, lots of employees were removed. But sadly, Sri Lankan employees are less aware of their rights. An employer cannot remove an employee that easily under redundancy. If the business is closing, yes, cessation of business is that. We can make the employees become atirikta, redundant. Or if the particular branch of the company is to be closed, yeah, okay. Employees who are working in that branch may be given redundancy notice. Or the type of work the employee is working for. Something like, let's say, you're working as a IT professional inside the company, in the IT department. Later the company decides to remove the IT department. Yeah, yes. Redundancy can be made because the type of work they are going to remove. Okay. Other than this, an employee cannot be made redundant. Yeah, there cannot be any discrimination of an employee when the employee is working. Direct discrimination is, okay, male employees are paid higher salaries, female employees are paid lesser salaries. That is direct discrimination. What is indirect? Yeah, if the company asks employees to work on Sundays or maybe Saturdays, right, it will be unfair for female employees with children, right? Male employees may be finding somewhat okay, right, this kind of an order, but a female employee, a mother, may find it very difficult to work on a Saturday or Sunday, right? So that is indirect discrimination if the company does so. What's whistleblowing? Whistleblowing is about releasing information or publishing information which is very, very sensitive, but about a wrong thing done by a company. If the company has done a very wrong thing, and if you as the employee feels that the outside world should be informed about it, you can whistleblow. Two options are there. Number one, we call it protected disclosure. Here you inform the government authorities like police or income tax department or the central environmental authority, right? There's another type of disclosure in whistleblowing, which is called qualifying disclosure. There what we do is we inform the media. But that's more dangerous. I have to have very good information to do qualifying disclosure. Protected disclosure, of course, if I do that, the company cannot take legal action against me because I'm doing it against the company. I'm doing it to the government. So there I may be given protection. Money laundering. That's a very common problem in business and industry. That means getting money illegally and then washing that dark money, black money clean. How do you do that? There are multiple ways to do that. One is, of course, buying of fancy cars. In Sri Lanka, the car purchasing is done with ready cash. So nobody asks where you got the money when you buy a car. So you can use that money to buy a fancy car costing, millions of rupees, tens of millions of rupees, and then use the car for a while. Then you can sell the car, get cash, and use that money for other business. Many people who do illegal business may do that, right? Washing that black money by buying and selling expensive cars. Another option is share market. You place the shares in the share market, you buy shares. Thereafter, for a couple of years, you buy, sell, the same set of shares. And thereafter, you sell those shares, you get the cash, and then, buy other things in the industry or business or everywhere around you, right? Buildings, vehicles, nobody asks questions. Money laundering is that, washing the dirty money clean. It's normally happening in the share market of any country also, right? Okay, some questions for you to do. Summary dismissal occurs when? Yeah, what would be the answer? Yeah, when the employer terminates the contract without notice. That's when the summary dismissal happens. This one, which of the following is not an implied duty owed by an employee towards his employer. Confidential information you cannot misuse. Faithful service you have to provide. Trust and confidence you have to. But duty to obey all orders? No, there's nothing called duty to obey all orders. This is the answer. D is the answer. Not an implied duty, right? A, B, C, they are implied duties, not D. What's whistleblowing? Qualifying disclosure? Yeah, they are, you have to have the full information, to inform media or other such bodies, right, when a company has done a wrong thing. So it's about revealing information of the right type. You must have all the good evidence, otherwise the company can take legal action against you for qualifying disclosure. If you do protected disclosure, that means telling the government, then of course the company cannot take action against you. Money laundering, what is it? Integration, placement, placement, layering, and integration. Adjustment is not there. Which of the following is not a valid reason for the dismissal of an employee? Dishonesty, we can remove an employee. Willful disobedience of a lawful order, yes, we can. Trade union, I have the right to be a member of the trade union. A company has no right to remove me. What are the correct statements? So what is the correct statement? Reasonably and responsibly towards the employees, yes. Implied duty to provide a reference, what did we learn? There's no right for an employee to demand a character certificate from an employer. An employer can give you a character certificate only if the employer is happy to give it to you. So the answer is what? 1 would be the better answer. Okay, an employee resigns due to employer committing a serious breach of their employment contract. So serious breach of contract, right? What is it? Which of the following remedies is open to the employee? Redundancy pay. He has removed, resigned, right? No remedies available to an employee who resigns. No. Employer is the one who has done the wrong thing, right? That's why employee is leaving. So what's the option? Yeah, constructive dismissal he can file. I had to leave because you broke your terms of the contract, so I want compensation. Employee can file, right, constructive dismissal action. Alright, so that has been the video. I hope you like the content that we had, and please take a look at the video number 1 as well.